Son, what if I told you you were going to compete in a spelling contest with an Indian kid? You'd go, oh crap, I'm going to get slaughtered. What if I told you that kid was American Indian? And
I get it.
Wow. When your racist joke is too racist for the racist friends you have. Damn, son. That one was a swing and a miss. God damn. Not only was there not even like awkward laughter, there was just that weird pause. And then Dave Rubin in the corner. I get it. But hey, don't forget, there's no safe spaces, y'all. Okay? There's no safe spaces in this world. By the way, I haven't seen this. I'm coming into this blind. I haven't watched the Vosh video. I didn't see any of the streams on this. This is brand new to my eyes. I hate it. It's beautiful. You're in for a treat.
Victimizers beware. The racist and bigot's greatest nightmare. Social justice warriors.
It's the bias response team.
If you've been offended, your feelings must be defended. Go! Freedom of expression is a microaggression. Here comes Antifa Freddy. He's always ready to fight fascism with fascism.
Starbucks windows don't stand a chance.
Ethic enhancer. He's a systematic racism finder.
He's got nothing on the racism harvester. All right, I am the racism harvester. It was a title bestowed upon me yesterday during that debate with Adam Friended. He's like, I know what you do, Lance. All right, you're just waiting for me to say something racist so that you can then take that clip and put it on the internet because you harvest. That's what you do. You harvest racists. You harvest racism. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm the motherfucking racism harvester, son.
Using the powers of screaming and shame, they win every debate by calling your names. They're heroes who think that they're victims.
Man, they are so easily hurt, by the way. This is what I've been discovering recently with all these like right-wing versus left-wing debates that are going on. Like, did everyone see Jangles versus Milo? Like, what went down there? Like, how much Milo broke down? He's like, but you're calling me names. Why are you saying such mean things to me? I'm not used to this. I'm charmingly befuddled. Why would you call me a dog, sir? I'm not a dog. Just because I like calling certain people the N-word doesn't make me a racist. How dare you? I have a black husband. Do you not understand?
Social justice warriors.
Nice. Oh yeah. No safe spaces. So intense. No one is being silenced more than Dennis Prager. No one. I mean, if there's one person who's just befallen cancel culture, it's Dennis. Poor Dennis. I mean, he just wants to be able to exclaim that men would be sex monsters if it was not for the rule of law. Yeah, and he just wants to be able to say that in peace. He just wants everyone to agree with him, you know? Come on, everybody. Like, we understand that if it wasn't for the Bible, we would all be sex monsters. I would just be abducting women on the streets if it was not for the rule of law. Oh, yes. 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 Oh, keep going. Damn.
All right, people of the internet, this is CancelCon. I'm Dave Rubin alongside Dennis Prager, Adam Corolla, and Ben Shapiro. You might have heard of these people, possibly, maybe. What we're doing today is a live stream to talk about the No Safe Spaces movie, but more
I would have loved if it was like, hey, do you want a teleprompter? Dave, do you want to go off script, or do you want to just do this? No, I got this one. Yeah, I know exactly what to say. I got a great zinger. Just right out of the gates, I'll be like, hey, hello, people of the internet, because they're watching on the internet, so the kids will get that one.
to talk about the thing that we're kind of all talking about all the time, and I don't mean just the four of us, I mean everybody really in the United States and all over the world. This crushing attack on free speech that you guys see not only in the college campus situation, but all over, in the corporate world, in academia, now in our political world, in the cultural sphere, everywhere, everyone seems to be afraid to say what they think. And I found, I think, the last three guys who aren't afraid to say what they think.
Really? Wow. Man. Way to throw the IDW under the bus. I mean, I know he's fighting with Joe Rogan right now, so I get that one, but Charlie Kirk? How could you do that to Charlie Kirk, dog? Like, goddamn. I think his head just shrunk. Somewhere, just like off in the distance. It's like, oh, there's a disturbance in the force.
Gentlemen, say something controversial right up top. Dennis, what's the most controversial thing that one can say these days?
The most controversial thing? I'll tell you, America is a great country. I love America. Those are two of the most controversial things one can say. That's how Lincoln was a great man. In other words, any obvious moral statement regarding the U.S. is controversial. That's how bad things are. You know, I wonder, do I look at you or the camera? I love looking at you.
Look at me. Look at me for a second, for God's sakes.
So, I always wonder of the many millions of slaves who came from Africa to the.
Oh no! Oh, we're already going here. Okay, all right.
Western Hemisphere, right, North and South America. 3% came to the United States. About 340,000 versus, let's say, 12 million to Brazil. Are they undergoing the self-revolution in Brazil? Don't you wonder?
Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, well, first off, they didn't come to America. They were brought as slaves against their will. It wasn't like, oh, would you like to come over and have this great new job opportunity where we won't pay you for hundreds of years and we'll treat you like animals? Like, it was called chattel slavery. And on top of that, your justification for the whole thing is like, they had more slaves. I mean, come on. We had slaves, but they had more slaves. So why don't we talk about that? I didn't think I'd be experiencing slavery whataboutism in the first couple minutes, but now I understand. This is why they've been censored, and this is why we need something like CancelCon to bring the truth so that we can learn these things.
Why doesn't the left hate Brazil? We got 3% of the Africans who came here. Plus,
the left doesn't hate any like one person, or like we don't hate the idea of Brazil. We usually hate the governments that run those countries. And yeah, we're no fans of Jair Bolsonaro. We do hate him. We hate him with a passion, as do most sensible people.
plus, in the last 30 years, 3 million Africans, 3 million blacks have come here, 1 million from
Oh my god. Adam Carolla's. Yep. Yeah. 3 million blacks. Yeah, the blacks. We brought them over. Yeah. I mean, they came here. Yep.
Caribbean, 2 million from Africa, because they know how good it is for a black to live here.
For a black to
you
live
have
here.
to live.
Jesus Christ, sir. I mean, I don't want to tone police you, but you might want to not speak Klansman. Like, don't speak Klansman live on the stream, on the internet. Hi there, internet people. We're going to speak a little Klansman for you today.
In a world of lies, to accept this depiction of America.
Adam, he said that America's good. That was the short.
That's what I got from that too. Yeah, that's definitely. If I heard someone speaking like that just on the street, I would be like, yeah, he's saying America's great. Yeah, that's patriotism right there. Yeah, tell me more about the black.
Can you possibly come up with something more controversial than that? I mean, come on, man.
Well, what no one really wants to hear is you'll either do well here or you won't do well here, and that'll be up to you.
Yeah.
The playing field is fairly
Nothing else.
level, certainly level enough in almost 2021. And it'll never be completely level. It can't be completely level. People that are short have a slight disadvantage. People who are born to this type of family or missing a father in the home, for instance.
Oh.
But this is about as level.
Yeah, missing a father. Who could I be talking about?
A society as you can ever have, and thus it is up to you. Now, the people People hate that story. Well, you know who hates that story? Children. Children hate that story. Like when you go, hey, if you're getting a bad grade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if a kid was listening to Dennis Prager, and again, just speaking in Klansman, then yeah, they probably would be a little disturbed. They would be like, Uncle, why are you telling me about slaves and how it's okay that we had less slaves and that therefore America's good because we didn't have as many slaves as Brazil?
It's not because the teacher hates you, it's because you're not working hard enough. But now we're dealing with adult children everywhere you look. And this is all it is. It's basically taking adolescence and dragging it up into adulthood. And sadly, you know, I talk to people in their 70s who feel this way. My parents in their 80s, I think they feel this way. So unfortunately, everyone, if you live in this country and you live here during the present time, the onus is on you. If you're not having...
So basically, we're going to get through all 4 of their intros, because I'm sure these are zingers that they prepared. And then I've got some time codes to get to the best and the juicy bits, right? You know those parts.
Absolutely juicy.
Success, you got to go find a mirror.
So are you saying just because you want something, you can't necessarily have it? Because right now we are in your garage. You've got some pretty sweet cars around here. I mean...
That's his garage? I thought they were at a dealership. Holy fuck. Wow. Man, the audacity to just be like, you can make it if you want. Yeah, there's no such thing as hierarchies or systemic oppression. No, just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and you too could live inside a Nissan dealership.
That Dennis and Ben and I each can take a car.
Well, most of them have to go back to the prop house before we wrap tonight. Yes, all these cars are things that I've always wanted. I enjoy them now. I loved cars when I was young. I never had any money, so I could never afford to own a car that was nice. As a matter of fact, I work construction, so I was forced to drive a pickup truck, which is really the opposite of one of these cars. So for me, I thought to myself, well, I like these cars. I'm driving a pickup truck. I got to focus, work harder, get better at what I do, and then one day I can have one of these sports cars.
All right,
oh,
Shapiro,
man. That's a great line. Speaking of children, only kids want as many cars as Adam Carolla has. And even then, it's probably little toy cars. They'd be like, why does a human being need 14 vehicles and not drive any of them? Meanwhile, there's a lot of starving people. Why do you have 14 cars? Even if you want to be like, I've done very well for myself, I want to own a toy. I would have nothing wrong if you're like, yeah, I just bought myself a couple nice cars. Cool. Why do you need an entire fucking fleet? Like, I don't understand that. Do you drive every single one of them?
Prager saying America's pretty good. We got Corolla saying that hard work has value. Can you beat either one of those? Come on.
Easily. Are you ready for this? This is so easy. Okay. Men are not women.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, okay.
And
Okay,
the
you
string
asked
has
for
been
it.
cut.
You asked for it. I mean, J.K. Rowling's having her books burned.
Yeah.
Right? The only book any of these people have ever read. Right? They should have read like the Bible or any other book. As it turns out the only people they only read Harry Potter, and now they are burning the only book they have ever read because she had the temerity to say that biological sex exists.
No one's burning Harry Potter. There's no Harry Potter book. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, this is part of a broader kind of rubric that words have meaning and objective reality exists outside of what you wish existed. That you're
cool. So learn language. Just why not learn a little bit of language before you do this? Because guess what? It changes over time, as does the meaning behind words. We don't speak in yield English anymore. Do you know how strange that would be?
own personal feelings about things actually do not magically take the form of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And acknowledging that objective reality exists is a tough one. I mean, and this does go to, everything that we're talking about, right? This encompasses, the fact that America is not systemically racist. This encompasses the fact that if you fail in a free country, it's probably your own fault. Not always, but very often it is your own fault if you fail in a free country or you made some bad decisions. And it encompasses the fact that your neighbor is probably not a garbage person. I was talking the other day about the fact that in LA, the only thing that anybody seems to care about is planting these stupid ass lawn signs that say all of these dumb tautological slogans that mean nothing like what they actually are supposed to mean.
Right, the future is female and also believe in science.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, which again is inarguable in one context, but that's not what they mean by Black Lives Matter, or water is life, which
Has anyone ever heard this much bigotry compressed into 4 people's opening statements? Because that's all we've gone through so far. These are just like, this is their introductions. normally it's like, hi, my name's Ben Shapiro. I like to do the talky talk on the internets. This is my good friend, Dennis Prager. He likes to abduct women, but he doesn't because of course, the Bible. So there's that. That's what I would expect. Not all of this.
You know, women's health, women's rights are human rights, and all this kind of stuff. The implication of that entire sign is that the person who lives next to you is a bad person, right? You're a good person, the person who lives next to you is a bad person, and it's sort of like this pagan Passover routine, where instead of like painting the blood on your lintel, you take one of these Black Lives Matter signs and you plunk it in your front lawn, and then the social justice warriors pass over your house and move on to the next house to burn it in the name of social justice. The fact is that in objective reality, your neighbor is probably not a bad person. They're probably just as nice a person as you. They're probably a nicer person than you are because they probably don't think that you're a bad person. And so, you know, objective reality doesn't always meet with your approval.
So one other thing before we jump to the sponsors, do you guys think it's odd that we're
Before
thought of
we
as
jump to the
controversial?
sponsors.
I find it very odd that so many people.
You are cracking me up. Do you know, just today, this is weird to hear your thoughts played back to you. Just today I was thinking I'd like to write a column. I write a column every week that I'd like to write a column. This is what I believe. Why am I called a right-winger? That was what I was thinking the entire column, because I thought, you know, I grew up, it's redundant, as a Jew in New York who went to Columbia. By definition, you're a liberal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's redundant to say you're a liberal.
The entire sentence was actually just
sorry?
redundant.
Yeah.
A Jew in New York went to Columbia. The rest of the
That's
Yeah,
correct.
you should have done it.
Quadruply
That's
redundant right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I realize everything that I believed when I was a liberal and a Democrat, I still believe. I know you have this totally.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's every one of those beliefs is now called right wing. I didn't change. I'm sorry, I didn't. The liberals have accepted the left lie that conservatism is their enemy when leftism is the enemy of liberalism.
No,
All right, let's get to some time codes.
To put ads on Facebook. And as far as I know, Facebook is a company that perhaps wants to make some money, except they didn't want to take money from these guys. Facebook decided that they did not want to take, I think, roughly around 10 grand in advertising funds because they did not want people to see this movie. So if you might be watching this on the Facebook page, but we're most likely watching on nosafespaces.com or on the No Safe Spaces YouTube page, which doesn't that kind of prove the point of the film, guys, that big tech maybe isn't our friend?
Oh my
Is that
God.
possible? Do you think maybe, Dennis, that big tech is not our friend, is not the friend of PragerU?
But here, the thing with Zuckerberg is also frightening. The guy actually does care about free speech, but he was intimidated by the New York Times. They started saying, oh, his stupid idea that he'll let any speech on, because it's a stupid idea to the left.
Yeah.
So does everyone know the truth now? Have you learned the truth? Do you know the one true prophecy? Because Dennis Prager has now bestowed it upon all of you.
Free speech is a stupid idea.
So saith Zuckerberg. Yeah. Zuckerberg.
That's the level we're at.
All right. Well, let's talk to some people who agree with us on some of this stuff, because actually an awful lot of people do. We've got college campuses all over the country that are
Echo
having
chambers.
live premiere
Echo
parties
chambers.
right now, and we're gonna send over. Where are we right now? Where are we right now? What university are we at right now? Where are we? That's Texas A&M? That's Texas A&M. There's a logo right over there. All right, what's up, guys? There we go. I think we're going to show one or two more. Where are we over here?
I'm just gonna
We're in Florida.
show
Is that
some
University of Florida.
some random collections.
There we go. Balloons, freedom. You're still alive.
Balloons are freedom. Did you hear that, everyone? All you God-fearing Americans out there, balloons are freedom. That's right, balloons. Goddamn balloons.
Allowed to have
Ronald Reagan's
balloons.
face. There
You're
we
still
go.
allowed to have balloons, guys. Isn't it? It's incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're still allowed to have balloons. They haven't come for our balloons, you know? I mean, first they came for the dogs and I said nothing. Then they came for the whistles and I said nothing. And then they came for the balloons and I took a firm stand.
Incredible. Yeah, it's a strange thing that the things that we talk about are thought of as controversial, and that we have to put on an event like this and then then you can't advertise the event, which proves the theory of the documentary in the
the
first
left
place.
fully denies that cancel culture even exists. This is
Yeah,
one of the great
right.
gaslighting.
Yeah, that's the new
It's one of the great
move.
gaslighting efforts I've ever seen. So for folks who don't know the term gaslighting, it comes from a 1940s movie with Ingrid Bergman, and the basic premise of it.
If you knew anything about gaslighting, you'd know you should not be using it in reference to the way you're explaining it. It's not meant to be used as just an everyday colloquial term, like, oh, you've been gaslit. No, it's supposed to be used in terms of medical descriptions.
Is that Charles Boyer, who plays her husband, is trying to drive her absolutely up a wall and drive her nuts so that she'll kill herself. And so what he keeps doing is every night he turns down the gaslight, and then he tells her that he has not turned down the gaslight in an attempt to, so that's where the term comes from. The gaslighting here is that the very people who spend their days trying to get all of us deplatformed, right, trying to get us demonetized on YouTube and
bottom of the list unless you really.
Oh, no way. Of course. Nice.
When it comes to this serious business of sex.
Happy.
Absolutely.
I never knew that. I thought everyone wants to be happy.
Well, think about how empowering it is
Yeah.
to say your problem.
Who doesn't want to be happy?
Because of you. You know what I mean? You
Right.
can't get a date, but it has nothing to do with you. The system's against you.
The system is stacked against you, and there isn't a bloody thing you can do about it. So why bother trying?
Yeah.
Of all the things to tell anyone ever about anything, that's got to be bottom.
Yeah, that's definitely what the left has been saying. They're basically like, don't try. Just bend over and clean up your room.
List unless you really don't like them.
Here's what our job is as parents, as educators, as politicians, as cops, and lifeguards.
Listen to this inspiring
Our
corporate
job
music.
is to convince younger people they're not victims. Our job is to say to a kid who is confined to a wheelchair, don't worry. You're just going to outwork everybody else. You're going to out-hustle everybody else. And you will see that this thing is not going to hold you back because you have the heart of a tiger. What we're doing now is we're taking able-bodied kids and convincing them they need to use the handicap ramp.
So that's a clip from the No Safe Spaces movie, and of course you can actually get the entire documentary at nosafespaces.com, and it really it's a wonderful movie. I mean, I know you two created it, so it's a little silly for me to say that in front of you.
I always tell people I'm in a great movie. It's not a great movie because I'm in it, and I'm not Mr. Humble. I'm Mr. Honest. It is a great movie, and we're delighted to be in it. And obviously, I adore this man, and working with him is a total joy. And working with everybody at No Safe Spaces was a joy. You folks have to see it. It's truly. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry, but it will affect you and the way you view freedom. I want to. Can I go back to your issue?
It'll make you think of balloons.
Speaking out.
You'll want those freedom balloons.
That you're going to end systemic, fill in the blank, then your entire existence is a portrait in frustration, right? Because, well, it's Friday and it's time to punch out, but racism still exists, so mission not accomplished. Now enjoy your Friday evening.
And it's a great point. And I think that also, even if you have a task, as big as end racism, normal people have subtasks, right? Like there are kind of milestones that you hit along that road. So you can say, okay, look how far I've gone, right? You can turn around and when it comes to, look, we're never going to end racism, but if you look at America in 2020 and you look at America in 1820, there's some fairly significant differences. Well, if you see the task of life as moving through these series of achievements, then you can at least look back and say, look how far we've come. But for the left, because they don't have those tasks, because all that lives out there is this miasmatic problem that you're supposed to joust at like it's a windmill from Don Quixote, there's no way to look back and say how much we've improved. And so every leftist essay about race, for example, begins with...
Probably met up with Abby before this, and he's like, hey, I need a metaphor. What if I use the windmill from Don Quixote? She's like, oh, Ben, oh, Benny, that's apt. Oh, that's apt. Yeah, use that. That'll kill. That'll kill on the internet.
Here's a terrible thing that happened in 1818. And now just fast forward 200 years to 2020. Right. This is every Ta-Nehisi Coates essay, right? Here is a piece of writing from 1840 about how racist Americans were. Fast forward 180 years, nothing has changed, right? We just skip right over everything that happened. The Civil War, the Civil Rights Movement, all of the changes in American life, the fact that overwhelmingly Americans don't care about race and actually hate racism on a root level. all of it, and you see this in everything. I was noticing this about the wildfires. We're 5 minutes away from the burning of California, which is, I'm leaving, you guys. The biblical plagues are upon us, and I don't know what you're doing here. Honestly, I don't know what you guys are doing.
It's fun, right? Because you get to do climate denial, and then you actually leave the areas that are being directly affected now, and just go to other parts of America, and then you can say like, oh yeah, it's the end times. It's the Bible. It's funny. Oh, by the way, who sponsors all of us? Who sponsors all of our shows? It doesn't have anything to do with the Koch brothers, does it?
You've got Nancy Pelosi out there being like, this is Mother Nature's revenge, and Gavin Newsom being like, this is all climate change. It's like, well, if you'd clean up the damn forest, you probably wouldn't have this giant wildfire. But they don't want to do the task.
Clean up the damn forest, Ben. I mean, I don't want to Aquaman you here because we all know the memes, but what the fuck are you talking about? Seriously, what the fuck are you talking? Clean up the forest? If you didn't clean up, what was it? Dirty? Was there garbage? Was there just too many canisters of gas lying around? If only. I mean, if only we had the foresight. We didn't know. We didn't listen. So many canisters of gas. We should have cleaned them. For years, but we didn't listen.
Because then they might not get to complain about the giant goal that they have, which is to quote unquote end climate change or something like that. And it's the same thing with racism. They don't even want the subtask. It's not just.
What kind of a goal is that? End climate change. What does that even mean? Like, these words have no meaning anymore. What is climate change? What is a climate? Clean up the forest.
Well, also think about the misery of you saying you're talking about sort of what you've done, and everything's compared to the past, So it's like, imagine if you said, hey, I got my report card on racism. I got an A and a B plus in inclusion, and they're like, yeah, but your great grandfather got an F. So that's going to bring the curve down a little. We'll give you a D plus. You know what I mean? Like, how unsatisfying would that be? Which is like, I'm living in the present
Was that a
day.
joke?
I think I'm getting.
It's one of those rare times when it does this, but not because you don't understand it, but because you're just like, where's the humor, sir?
I got to just quickly tell this. I meet a guy, he's like an Adonis. I mean, it's not often I think a guy is unbelievably handsome. The guy's unbelievably handsome.
Yeah, well,
all right.
good to see you too.
Speaking for me.
Yeah,
okay. So at some airport in the country, comes over to me. He's very tall.
I was really waiting there for Adam to Corolla to pull out like, hey guys, no homo. Do you get it? No homo. Yeah. Hi, internet.
All very good looking. Goes, Dennis Prager, and in some Scandinavian accent. I am from Denmark or Norway. I am from Norway. I love your videos. They go, you're a Norwegian conservative? And he goes, I don't know if I'm conservative. I just know I have common sense. And I go, yeah, that's all you need.
I like how you made him sound like a Jew from Brooklyn when you did that.
Is that what I did?
Yeah. I don't know.
You know how many Norwegian Jews I grew up with? Okay, so there's a great community.
Yeah. Adam, what do you think? I mean, you got to wait. Your son is right there. What happens the day that one of his friends says, you're a Nazi, you're a bigot,
Yeah, I got to.
No offense.
Yeah, the day is young. So, if you really think about this thing of like, how do we get these people to see things our way, which is sort of what we're saying. Is there any possibility, I'll just ask Ben, that someone who is far left could get you to see things their way when it came to many
His face says it all.
Taxes, for instance, just the finances, financial world, or any subject under the sun.
I mean, extraordinarily unlikely, probably.
Right. So what are the chances we're going to convert them? So I think the notion of burning calories, trying
that was
to
enough.
convert them is probably a waste of calories.
About things I cannot say, I do it anyway because the thing I've always loved about this
Tim Allen
is it's people. There's no middleman in this. Essentially, I'm running the show at that moment, but it is weird that I'm thinking a little bit.
We as comedians, the whole point of what we're doing on stage with our words is to make a point about the absurdities of life. Like, I have a joke about, being comfortable with my size. I say it depends on where I am geographically. And if I'm in New York, I'm pleasantly plump. If I'm in LA, I'm a beach whale. I say if I'm in the Midwest, I'm anorexic, and it's awesome.
Right.
And then I've had someone come up to me after a show and be like, I was bulimic in high school. And I'm like, okay, calm down. That wasn't about you, first of all. It was a joke. And that's what I'm up here to do.
And how were you canceled?
All right,
in that instance, that was just someone saying, "Hey, this is my lived experience." It's not. You weren't shut down. You didn't lose your livelihood. Like you're not being tarnished online.
Got Kareth Foster live. Kareth, how are you?
Oh, joining.
Oh no, can't hear you.
And it blew my mind how, here in America, we have no idea how good we have it, and we are throwing it away.
What do you make of the state of stand-up in general? I mean, I know some pretty well-known, famous HBO comedy special comics who actually privately are kind of afraid to get back into the game after this thing.
I'm not surprised. Listen, comics like to be liked. They have an ego thing going on, and I think people are afraid of losing followers, of losing fans if they let their...
Like, this is so ridiculous. By virtue of being on the internet, some people are going to not like you. Some people are going to hate you. Like, it doesn't matter what I say or what I tweet out. It doesn't matter how much I've researched or I try to add nuance to a topic. A whole bunch of people are going to hate me. And that's just the nature of being on the internet. That's the nature of showing your views to more people. They're going to be like, yeah, I don't like you anymore. So again, you're not being shut down by that. Like, what is going on?
Their true opinion shine, which is so sad because that's the antithesis of comedy. You guys were speaking earlier about, speaking into your truth and this personal responsibility that we all need to embrace and bring to the table.
Yeah, they
and
do.
Comics should absolutely, that's what the greats did. Richard Pryor, George.
Oh God, here we go again.
Bruce. These guys were out there putting their souls on the line. And it's a shame that comics today are feeling like they shouldn't or can't do that because of the reactions and the backlash they're afraid they'll receive.
Yeah, Adam, I feel I should let you jump in and offer a little comedy something.
I have a COVID joke, Kareth.
A COVID joke. Okay.
I'm going to Arizona tomorrow. I'm doing 4 shows. I've been to Texas a few times. I've been to Tennessee and done a few shows. So anyway, here's a COVID joke for you, but it really only works for me because people know I don't like my parents, right? So I say,
always a great setup. Always a great setup to a joke. So this is incredibly insular and it doesn't apply to anyone except for myself. So it's a very, very inside joke and that only all understand it. All right. So, all right. Are we ready? The setup's ready. Okay, here we go.
I have an elderly mother, and I go, the good news for me is I don't have to visit. She lives in North Hollywood. I don't have to visit my elderly mother. And I'm this close to convincing her the virus can be spread over the phone.
Applause. Everyone laughs.
That's pretty good.
And then everyone says to me, wait a minute, why would you say out loud you don't like your parents on a show that's openly on the internet? And I go, because my parents would never watch a show I was on. I can say whatever I want.
Kareth, what's the closest you ever got to being...
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So if he had said that on the internet, he would have been canceled for the spicy take?
I actually was at Oberlin. I was brought in by the Young Libertarian and Republican Club to present a program on humor and the importance of humor and why we need to keep it and embrace it and have it in all of our lives. There were 17 people in the club. 300 people showed up to shout me down. Now the good news is, because I'm, charming, I was able to kind of quell the audience, and I literally said to them, you guys are spending a lot of money to come to this institution, and the fact that you are going to miss an opportunity to really get higher education, to be exposed to new ideas, to broaden your horizons, isn't that the point of why everybody's here? Why would you do that to yourselves? And don't you all also believe that everybody has a right to have their voice heard? And I didn't get a boo, a hiss, a nothing. And in fact, people came up after the show, thanked me for coming. Some people even wanted to join the group because they didn't even know what the group was about. They just heard their friends say, oh, well, we can't let these people have this person commit. And they've had speakers before who'd been, shouted down and couldn't even speak. So, I felt like it was a huge victory on my part, and a huge victory for free speech. And if we can have more sessions like that, where we talk to people, we reach, not just try to reach their minds, but their hearts, and get them to understand this is.
The earth is on fire. It's on fire. It's literally burning. You're all moving out of California because it's on fire. You don't want to live there anymore. This is the talk. It's this or it's cuties. These are the two talking points. It's about how they're canceling all of us multi-millionaire successful business people, or cuties, the pedophiles, QAnon.
Students said that once free speech goes, it's going to be a domino effect with other things. And free speech doesn't mean you have to agree with what somebody else says. It just means you have.
Except your right to protest. Your right to protest.
I remember.
Got to shut that down right away.
Up one night, and I used to do a joke. Believe it or not, I think I told you this once on your radio show, Adam. I used to do a joke that involved the N-word, and it wasn't to be racially offensive or in a pejorative way. I was doing an impression to make fun of people that use words like that. And for about 5 years, it would get a huge laugh. And then I remember one night I was on stage at Gotham Comedy Club in New York City, and the crowd kind of...
Oh, tell the joke. You got to tell the joke now. Don't hold out on us. Come on. This crowd is going to love it. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to your people here. Come on. It's a hot set.
They all froze like all at the same time, and I remember in my head thinking, I'm never going to tell that joke again. And that's a pretty dangerous place for a comedian to be.
It's a dangerous...
Dave Rubin just said he wants to be able to say the N-word. That just happened. Time code. 1 hour, 34 minutes, 28 seconds. In case anyone needs that. So yeah, I just wish I had the high level idea of saying the N-word all the time.
I asked on my show, why can you say kike? Kike is the N-word about Jews. And by the way, you should be allowed to say it, but not, obviously not to call a Jew that, but to say what the word is. This is all, look at how holy I am. It has nothing to do with real morality. I wanted to say something. I don't know if you guys know this. This is one of the great, I didn't even report this, I don't think, on my show for some reason. This is an actual headline.
Everyone's like, oh, the VOD is toast. No, it's in context. It's in context. It's a bigot using bigoted language. It's well within context.
Wherein a company, I think a hair salon, put out an ad. We would like someone, who knows hair, knows that, and is happy because it's important to our customers. And they were. So
that's what this is all about. That's what this whole 2 hour stream is going to be about. We want to be able to say the K word, the N word. Just we want all the words back. I want the fucking alphabet back. All right, Sesame Street stole it from me. We had all these wonderful words for everything. I could call all these minorities by their chosen slurs, and then they took it all away from us. We had such wonderful slurs before.
It's gone so wild. I mean, you saw this case from USC where a professor has now been suspended because he was trying to explain how people use various filler words in various languages. You saw this story, Dennis?
Yep.
I mean, and he was explaining that the word in Chinese, that's the filler word. So for us, it's right? But in Chinese, there's a word that sounds like the N word. This guy, who clearly was not saying the N word, was booted from his job for not saying the N-word because he was speaking Chinese. That's how insane things have become. But I think this is a...
Think that has helped you as you said what you think is on your mind, or is it hurting you as you say what's on your mind?
Listen, I to quote my really dear friend Urshad Manji, she wrote the book Don't Label Me. I think it's insane that we think that people, just because of their color or their sexuality or their political preference, are monoliths. We are multifaceted, multi-layered individuals, and it appalls me, and it does hurt my feelings a little bit that.
And that's what the left has been saying. Not that there's systemic structures that hold people up, and that's why they're referred to as monoliths. It's not that. It's of course it's the left. It's the left who are doing it.
These are competing sort of notions, being politically correct and left-leaning in comedy, because comedy is really mostly about stereotypes. If you're making...
And here we go.
a joke about gay people or Jewish people, then you have to do stereotypes. And I was explaining to my son, here goes a politically incorrect joke. I was explaining to my son,
Thank you for the trigger
here's
warning.
how stereotypes in humor works. And if you do stereotypes that don't work, then like you go, oh, you know when you're running late and you always get behind on the freeway, you get behind one of those German guys driving a Porsche, and it's like, that doesn't make sense to me. But you go old lady or old Asian lady or whatever it is.
I like how he's like, old... oh, wait, is this canceled? Yeah, it's canceled. God, okay, old Asian lady.
And then all of a sudden we're back with the stereotypes. But if you can't do stereotypes, then there goes a lot of the jokes. And I said to my son, I said, here's how comedy and stereotypes work. I think you'll learn after this I'm the world's worst dad. I said, son, what if I told you you were going to compete in a spelling contest with an Indian kid? You'd go, oh crap, I'm going to get slaughtered. What if I told you that kid was American Indian? And
I get it.
and
Wow. When your racist joke is too racist for the racist friends you have. Damn, son. That one was a swing and a miss. God damn. Not only was there not even like awkward laughter, there was just that weird pause. And then Dave Rubin in the corner. I get it. Here for that.
he laughed because he understood the stereotype of the Indian kid, obviously,
Yeah.
who nails the spelling bee. Dennis, where?
That's why it's funny, you know, because the Indian kid would be very smart, but of course the Native American kid would not be smart. That's where the humor lies in the joke I told.
Where's the laughter? Come on.
I
That was
did
a
laugh.
stereotype.
I did. I thought it
That
was
was a
good, yes.
stereotype joke.
No.
Where's the laughter? Now you're begging for laughs. Wow, what a comedian! Why ain't you laughing at my joke, Dennis? You laughed at all my N-word jokes earlier off camera. Come on, do I gotta poke you? You love the N-word jokes, Dennis. What's going on? This one doesn't tickle you in the same way.
Yes.
Oh, now he's laughing.
Okay, so well, Kara
That is so awkward. That is so weird.
always
All right.
taking everybody out.
We're almost done.
Constitution, but has a great connection to it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Senator Cruz, it seems to me that there is a relationship here between the Declaration and the Constitution. And there's a relationship between self-government and the ability to say things, to reason together, to speak about our country and what holds us all together. How's that all work together?
Well, look, I think that's exactly right. And if you want to address why free speech is important, why the First Amendment is important, that passage from the Declaration does a fabulous job of explaining why.
Man, this goddamn Canadian could become the next Supreme Court justice. Probably not, but he could. I'll put a bow on this because I think we've watched more than enough of this absolute garbage fest. I don't know, Cabbage Patch Kid dolls. Nobody is saying that we want to censor free speech. You should be allowed to have free speech within the limits, obviously, that we establish free speech. It can't be hate speech. But if you want to tell shitty jokes, where the only punchline you can come up is just racism, if that's it, you should be allowed to do it. You should be allowed to do that. Here's the thing, though. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. So if you're going to do that, there's people on the internet who are going to call you a racist because you made a racist joke. And the punchline was that, you know, Indigenous children are going to be less intelligent than other children. That was your punchline. So if you're going to do that, people are going to call you a racist on the internet. I'm sorry, that's not cancel con. That's not cancel culture. That's just the way the world works. That's also the way the internet works. Hey, we want to mutual aid you to get some eyeballs on your work. So if you have a leftist YouTube channel or Twitch stream or something you want us to advertise, just send us a 20 to 30 second ad using the forums at weareserfs.com. We'll do our best to help you out. And please submit once per channel.
To our God, I'm Wrath. We pray at your altar of greatness. To our monarch, Thomas Bone, you are the light that guides our path. To our lords, Jeffrey Lamb, Trevor R., Stephen, Ninetails Cosmic Fox, Hans Josephine, and Poppy Nelson, we bow meekly for your pleasure. To our knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Dylan Veith, Alexander Thaler, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Clement Chetska, Skybear Games, Moss Beast, Political Puppy, Ali Menthol, Jimmy Bignuts, Alan R., Andreas Chitoro, Good Poon Hates Cops, That's Solid Poon Then, Dr. Zayas, Joppy, Radiclu, Violent Orchard, and Sophie Baby, we salute you. And to our many merchants and farmers, thank you. Fuck you, Lance!